Hello and welcome to the Merri-Cast, the show that puts you on the fast track to confidence. Now, you may be used to me interviewing our amazing guests about their entrepreneurial journeys, but every couple of months I like to take a few minutes to bring you a shorter podcast, one that looks at those common threads that underpin personal as well as business confidence. You see, when I was younger, I lacked a lot of personal confidence, and that's become the fuel that now drives me to help others. And with the help of coaching, I started to understand the fears and limiting beliefs that were holding me back. As an executive coach myself, my purpose now is to help others find their confidence and make their own breakthrough. In the first of these special mini Merri-Casts, as I like to call them, we looked at the power of curiosity in building confidence. There's a second C, though, in my coaching model that, in my opinion, underpins confidence, and that is the joy of creativity. So today we're diving into that subject, creativity, and why it is not only lots of fun, but matters more than ever, especially in today's increasingly weird and unpredictable world. When I say creativity, what do you actually think about? I mean, what image comes to your mind? I mean, people often think I'm talking about painting or music or writing or something, but creativity isn't necessarily about creating something artistic. It's about finding ways to unlock what's already inside you, your inner resourcefulness, your ability to find new solutions to familiar problems, and to see opportunities where others see only obstacles, perhaps. And that's something that we all need to remind ourselves about at regular moments. The answer to most challenges is usually to be found between your ears. My own business, Merriborn, relies on creativity through content. And as a coach, I realise that my creative role is not really to plant new ideas into others, but to water the seeds that are already there in their heads already. And I want to pick some common misunderstandings, I think, about creativity in this mini Merri-Cast. One of those is about time. Maybe you think you don't have the time to be creative, but I suggest that you don't have the time not to be creative. So when someone tells me, as they often do, I don't have enough time, I tell them that they simply chosen to spend their time in other ways, and that's fine. That's choice, but it is a choice. Because other things being equal, we all, the last time I looked, had roughly the same amount of time available to ourselves in our lives. Now, my view is that creativity flourishes not in spite of time challenges, but because of them. Time constraints are only obstacles, if that's how you choose to see them. To entrepreneurs, though, a so-called lack of time is a catalyst. It gives impetus to do extraordinary things that you didn't know that you had in you. Studies have shown that when people work under tight time constraints, limited time, limited budget, limited resources, for example, they often produce more creative solutions than if they had endless options and all the time in the world. Constraints can actually sharpen focus and push us to think differently. Embracing constraints can also be transformative. It prevents a sort of paralysis by analysis, and looked at in this way, it can actually focus energy, and it turns vague good intentions, I'd say, into sharper, more actionable steps. So I would say you do have the time to be creative if that's how you choose to be. And I would also go further. It's also an essential part of any entrepreneur's toolkit. A little while ago, for example, I had a very special guest, Marie-France Samba, on my show. She's a personal branding, visibility and leadership coach extraordinaire. And in this clip, she goes as far as to say that creativity is central to everything that she does.
When you are in business as an entrepreneur, you have to be creative anyway, right? Yeah. So this is how we function. If you're not creative, if you don't come up with an idea, if you don't stretch yourself and try new stuff, then you're left behind. So, I mean, creativity is part of one of my, values. I always create something, and I always make sure that I keep the fire burning with my clients. So, I guess being creative is part of my DNA, really.
What I love about Marie-France's words there are that they highlight a simple truth. Creativity isn't a bolt from the blue. It's effectively a habit. It's a mindset. It's something that we can all cultivate. Another misunderstanding about creativity is that many feel that they don't have creative ability. What happens, though, if you find creativity difficult? Well, many people do, and some persuade themselves that it's just something that they're just simply not good at. Well, I disagree, to be honest, and I think everyone can reawaken the natural joy of being creative. I mean, we all had it as children, so why not now? We often lose the creative habit over time, and it is a habit, through fear of failure, basically. Frustrated creativity is not failure. How often, for example, have you felt a block in creativity just before you made a breakthrough in your thinking and then move forward? You see, in my view, failure is not the enemy of creativity. It's the fuel that drives it. It invites reflection, it teaches resilience, and it fosters experimentation to try again. And some of the best business ideas didn't emerge in moments of triumph. They were born from setbacks. I recently read about Slack, the business that started life as a failed gaming company, and its founders only pivoted in the face of failure, and then, of course, went on to much greater success. Another guest on the podcast, Cheryl Louzet, the founder and CEO of Wagada, which is a very successful results-driven marketing agency, goes so far as to celebrate the failures of herself and her colleagues with a bottle of bubbly.
I see failure as being a very positive thing, and it's always something I've thought about very positively through my business journey, because I failed a lot. But I think when you fail, you identify something not to do, so that you gain something. You've said, well, I'm not doing that again, so that reduces the number of options I've got now, so hopefully I'll choose the right path this time. And so one of the things that we do is we have a thing called Prosecco meetings. So when we failed, we don't always drink Prosecco, to be fair, but we have had times we've opened a bottle of Prosecco and we've shared it. And it's just about celebrating that failure and saying, this is exciting. You know, we've failed, we've discovered something we shouldn't be doing. That's brilliant. Now we can find some really positives out of this and some things we should be doing. And it's a really good thing. So yeah, and I think this team we've got now really do embrace failure and do get the whole concept of getting excited by what you can learn from failing.
Well, what a great clip from Cheryl there. I love the idea of breaking open the champagne in moments of adversity. Turning failure into fuel for creativity involves three key practices. Firstly, viewing setbacks as learning opportunities, then going on to secondly, reflecting on what went wrong and why, and thirdly, encouraging a culture of experimentation where risk-taking is valued. And when we approach failure creatively, it stops being scary and actually starts being quite a lot of fun. I'd like to say something also about creativity and resilience. Resilience is that other hardy perennial of the entrepreneurial journey. And it's actually deeply connected with creativity, because Charles Darwin was right that businesses that survive and thrive are the ones that adapt creatively. And resilience helps us endure, if you like. Creativity helps us adapt. So you're looking to sharpen your creativity and help others around you to do the same. And here are 7 quick steps that, in my view, give you back time, strengthen your belief in yourself and build your resilience. Number 1, think about the questions you're asking. Try and ask more open-ended questions of yourself and others. Like, instead of, why is this not working? It's, what else could we try? Or what assumptions are we making that we could challenge? Second, reframe constraints as opportunities. Instead of just saying I can't, ask how can I? Number 3, celebrate learning, not just successes. Make reflection a part of every project, whether they succeed or not. Fourthly, experiment with different ways of doing things. Sometimes changing the medium changes the thinking. So maybe sketch a plan instead of writing it, or role play a scenario instead of analysing it in isolation. Number 5, stay connected to your purpose, because creativity isn't just about novelty, it's about solving meaningful problems. Number 6, remember that creativity should be joyful rather than full of effort and perspiration. You may have to perspire a little bit, but at the end of the day, what are you doing? You're looking to inspire yourself, and that comes through drawing on all the resources inside yourself. And what, in my view, could be more invigorating than that? And finally, remember, creativity isn't something that you have or you don't have. It's just something that you need to practice consistently. So I promise you, your own creativity already lurks inside you, and you just need to practice these steps to consistently bring them to the fore. When you do that, you'll have a lot more fun along the way. So thank you for tuning into today's Merri-Cast. At Merri-Born, we help leaders unlock their creativity and find confidence in an often bewildering world. If you enjoyed today's episode and want to find out more about what we do, we'd love for you to subscribe, rate and review through your usual podcast provider. And if you want to find out more about what I've said in this podcast or our business Merriborn, you can find us on our website, merriborn.co.uk. That's MERRIBORN.co.uk. Or look for me, Trevor Meriden, on LinkedIn. Don't forget to join us for our next episode. And until then, thanks for listening.